Well, can he? He can.
Yes,
He's
he
gonna show you today. This is the Big Finish at Lincoln Lodge. We're about to get it on the show. So come on, everybody, and get the show on the road.
Let's get it on the road.
Hello.
And welcome back to the Big Finish podcast. I am one of your hosts, Jamie Schreiner.
And I am the other one, Beckett Kenny.
We're so happy to be back in the studio today. Beckett, how have you been doing? It's been about a month, I think, since we...
Yeah, it has been a while. I am good. I was laid off the last time we spoke. I have since found another job. God bless America.
God bless America.
I'm at the point where it's like I have another job, but I don't have another paycheck. So I'm very much running on fumes, trying to survive, like get any dollars and change I can get at the moment. But I am surviving. What else has happened? I got a job.
I was gonna say, when do you get paid from this job soon? Is it the thing where you're waiting on the first? Okay, you're waiting on that first paycheck.
Yeah, I'm waiting on that first paycheck.
Fuck, I hate
I know,
situation.
I know. It is the absolute worst.
I was going to say, I famously flip-flopped with you. I just got laid off on June 9th.
No, you got laid off?
So basically, it's...
How'd it happen?
So what happened was, it was kind of a slow burn. I'm not going to say the name of the company, but the CEO famously has a drug problem. So the company is going under. Famously had my hours cut in November from 30 to 10.
Yes.
So I'd gotten another part-time job to like offset losing, 2/3 of my income. And so I've been working those two jobs simultaneously. And then I got the information that at any moment they're going to have to file for bankruptcy. So they were like, we'd rather give you a final day rather than just like one day you stop getting paid. Which I prefer, but it is like, I have friends who like still work there full time who are going to have to just like keep working there until because I guess it's like they owe like the courier service that was delivering the products, I think like $100,000.
Wow.
And the courier service is like, we're not going to deliver until you pay like $50,000 of that. And so it's a thing of like, if we, or like not we, I don't work doing it, but like if
what were you doing there? Can I ask that?
I was doing copywriting.
Okay, yes. Okay.
Yes.
I remember for a second I was like, it wasn't this thing. I was like, okay.
Yes. I have a couple different copywriting things, and I also like nanny.
Are you getting unemployment?
So I make I think because I make some money, I can't file for unemployment, even though it's like not enough to live. But I might call and ask. I might call and ask and see. I will say I have like a couple interviews lined up, so it's like just hoping. I think I did like a skill test for one that was like an email marketing, copywriting, remote thing. I've gotten so used to working remote now. Like, I have like 2 nanny gigs next week, and I want to walk into traffic. Like, I don't.
Yeah. It's hard to go back to being in person from being remote. Yeah. I went from hybrid to fully remote, so that was a perk. Although it is. Is it a harder in terms of
job?
pay? It's a lateral move. It's not really a harder job. It's about the same.
It's just like
it's pretty much a very lateral move, I would say.
Okay, very lateral, very same.
Yeah.
I mean, I want to have another remote job because it's like I feel like when I work remote, I can tour and travel more, and I'm sure you've guessed it's something that I enjoy doing, even though touring isn't always the most lucrative right now. Sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't. It's a little hit or miss.
Yeah, that is fair. That is fair.
But I feel like it's gonna be okay. I'm kind of worried about my friends who are still at that job though, because it seems like the ship is hitting the iceberg.
Oh yeah, the place I got laid off from, the ship hit the iceberg and now it's breaking in two. You know what I mean? It's the point. The band's playing, the women and children are off. Now it's just the guys on. just
like hunkering down, trying to. That's. I'm glad you got. I mean, I know at the time when you were laid off, it was not good, but it seems like ultimately it's very lateral. But like at least we're not. Sinking.
I feel like I'm having a mid-20s crisis.
I remember that time. So what's it feeling like?
It's feeling like, okay, so this is insane, but I'm like. I'm turning 25. Watch me get emotional about this. I'm turning 25, and I know this is so. I'm like, I know that's the time where like you basically like your brain kind of stops changing basically, and it stops developing. And I'm kind of like, oh. this is gonna sound insane. I'm like, I was hoping I'd be a little less mentally ill by this point. I wanted to be I wanted my brain to freeze in a kind of better space. I feel like my brain is not exactly where I want it to be, where it's like, where I can just feel like, all right, pencils down. You know what I mean? Like, I don't feel like I'm ready, quite pencils down yet. Do you know what I mean? Like, no. I just like, I don't know.
No, I was going to say,
and like too, like truly, like I'm starting this new job, and it does feel like a lateral move, and I don't want to, you know, I'm very grateful for this job, but like I just like last year around this time, I was starting the job at the company that I now got laid off from, but at that time it was like I was like, oh, you're gonna make so much money, and everyone's cool and young and sexy, and like, and I was just like, also. This is toxic, but the thinnest I'd ever been. I was the thinnest I'd ever been. Felt the hottest. I felt so confident. I had just like gone out of a terrible job and I was starting a new job, and I just like felt so
like young, sexy madman.
I just felt like, you know, like I was at the peak of the world, at the top of the world, and right now I don't feel that way. I feel kind of like stuck and lost. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which, you know, I was just like, I just am like, I also like. You know, I know everyone feels this way, but I'm like, I thought I'd be further along now.
Yeah, no, I mean, I feel bad because it's like, I'm sitting here and I remember feeling how you felt, and I'm like about to be 31 in like 2 months. And I feel like now I'm just like vibing with my mental illness, like vibing with my, I don't know how I'm gonna make money. Like, Let me get an iced coffee for $7. Yeah. Like it's not like it. I guess it's just
absolutely.
Like, let me spend I probably have like $17 in my bank account buying a $7 iced coffee.
Yes.
About every week I'm doing that, and it's not. Basically what I'm saying is it's like I know it's not good to be like it's not looking great in terms of things feeling better anytime soon, but like there's a piece that comes eventually.
Okay.
Hopefully sooner than 5 years from now for you. Because I feel like
fingers crossed.
Yeah, I didn't really feel at peace with it until probably 30. I felt kind of how you're feeling for like 5 years, so I hope you don't have to feel that way for 5 years.
Okay, cool.
Like, good. Thank you for that.
It's also like too like I'm just now getting to the age, and this is also insane, but like where it's like I'm just now getting to the age. I'm about to turn to the age where it's like you're not the youngest person to do this thing, or you're not the youngest person in this room in comedy anymore, or like you know what I mean, and. That's something that always made you feel good. You're like, I don't have these things, but I'm so young. So I still have so much time. And now you're like, oh, I'm still kind of at the same place I was, but I'm not really young anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, not that I'm not young, because I shouldn't, but like I'm
not the youngest.
I'm not the youngest, especially, I'm not the youngest I've been in these situations. And yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I think that, I guess like the only insight I would offer is that it's like there are people who like reach the highest success of their career when they're like 70, and I know that that's not helpful, but it is a thing of like it's such a cheesy saying of like it's never too late to make your dreams come. Like, it's annoying, but it is true, and I think it's also just like success for Beckett Kenny is going to be different than success for Jamie Schreiner or success for Becca Nix Tham. You know what I mean? Like it's going to happen at different times for everybody. Yes.
And that's something also I honestly, well, and this, I'm currently 24, and I remember for like ever, like I like when I like didn't get something or I felt like I was behind or something, I would go, Ali Wong didn't start comedy until she was 24. And that is actually one of the only numbers I use as a week. And then Ali became very successful in her 30s. And actually a lot of comedians, that's one of the great things about, I think, this job, and like is like I think a lot of comedians end up making it at like a later time than like, I mean, if you're not a pop star by 25,
you're done.
You're done. Like, I mean, like you're not gonna be a pop star. But like you know, with comedy, it's different sometimes.
Yeah, you can be a little bit older. I mean, I would just say like, I guess like something that I would love to share with you in terms of that like really kind of put in perspective for me is like I very recently was working with and like having lunch with a couple of like comedy heroes of mine, and like one of them is somebody who I think is very much in the place that I would want to be in probably like 3 to 5 years, and she was talking about like, oh, I did it. Like I engaged with a troll on the internet today and I really wish I hadn't. And I felt pretty bad about that. And then was also talking about like going and doing these like big stages, but like having to be on the showcase with these like, you know, straight white men and feeling like she doesn't belong there, even though she's like a regular there. And I was like, oh, fuck, it never goes away, you know? And then I also like was opening for somebody who, you know, like was top of the game in their country, now is here in America, like selling out every show they do. And he's sitting there on the couch and he goes, Jamie, is this show even good? And I'm like, I want to fucking walk into traffic. If you're sitting here 16 years into comedy, amazing, in my eyes, amazing, and still going, oh my God, is my show even good?
Yeah.
Like, that's, I mean, I don't think it makes you feel better to hear that, but at the same time, it's like, at least you're not alone. And at least like the people that we like, oh, I would love to be where they're at, they're probably still feeling how we're feeling right now.
Yeah. I mean, comedy is famous for very secure people who feel
so
good about where they're at.
So emotionally mature, well-adjusted.
People who are well-adjusted,
Confident.
secure, okay with where they're at, and doing well. So that's good.
And I was like, and then we also have the extra the sprinkle seasoning of being former theater kids, just adding to that, like, even as we're struggling with how well adjusted and confident we are,
of course,
we're like, the
struggling
show
with
must go on. You know, like we cannot stop. We have to be perfect. Actually. And if somebody else gets the role, it's not because they're better suited for it. It's because we suck.
Yeah. That it is always that.
Yes.
It is very that. What have you been up to recently?
What have I been up to? I guess to fit. I was touring. It was very fun. It was very humbling in a lot of ways in terms of like, you know, I like had an audition showcase I was supposed to do at Comedy Store, and like a huge out of towner came in to do their show, and so me and like all these people who also have like late night, well, not also have like all these people who like have bigger careers than me, have late night credits, we all got bumped off the showcase. Like, it's like I came in too early to perform at this place, and it was like, JK, you're not. And so it's like that's the business, baby. You know, that was I think, you know, like a good experience to have. I also had like, you know, really, really cool moments of like somebody that has like been following me on TikTok for the past 2 years, coming and seeing my show in person, even though it was like kind of far away, and like got to see family and friends, and yeah, just like it was nice to get to run my show in like all these different markets, because I knew it was going to work in Chicago, because Chicago is very open to like things being quirky and weird and theatery.
Right.
But to have it work other places too felt good. And then also just like I've had some family stuff going on. Like my cousin's wedding was last weekend, as well as my brother's open house.
How was that?
It was fun. I feel like I had my first like dramatic situation with my younger brother, because I found out that like one of his lifelong friends like tries to make fun of him because I do comedy and like because of the content of my comedy, and that really kind of like hurt my ego and my feelings. So I was like, you're a family friend, like you're supposed to be supportive, and I kind of was like, you're a shitty little misogynistic friend, and like, beat the shit out of him, you know. But I reeled it in and realized that that's a child. I can't beat up a 17-year-old. Like it's not something that I mean, it's something I want to do, but it's not something I can do. I can just hope that they grow up. But yeah, that was like a very weird moment of like, oh, I can handle people hating on me when it's strangers on the internet that I don't know, but it's like when it's somebody that's like my brother's friend, like that I've known since he was 7, that sucks. Like that doesn't feel great. Yeah.
I have a hard time handling negative feedback from anybody. It's not, like you could be actually real obscure to me. I don't have to know you that well for it to hit home pretty deeply.
I think it almost depends on like it depends on what the comment is. Like I'm forgetting now. There was one where it said that it was like I was like an unfunny version of this like other famous British comedian, and I forget, like I'd have to look back and find out who, but it was somebody that I was like, it was so hurtful because I was like, oh, like I feel like if you like face shifted us and like probably added like 20 pounds to my face, I do look like this man. And I was like, that's such a mean.
Oh, no. So your family friend said this?
No, this was like I'm talking like an obscure comment on the internet. I'm saying the only time.
Oh, only if it's like.
If it's so accurate and mean, I'm like, God damn, like you really thought about that.
Yeah.
Like I really got in your head that you said sat and we're like, what's gonna fucking hurt?
Alternatively though, maybe I don't know if this makes it better. Maybe they did. Maybe it's like this is the one person that would be at the top of their head for them. Like they're a big fan of this British comedian. You know what I mean? Whoever that may be, Queen Elizabeth. I don't know. You know, all the British comedians, but
all of them. They're so huge. You know, Prince Harry, is that him?
That is him. That is him. Do you remember that reality TV show? I Want to Marry Harry.
I don't. Was that a show?
It was like a fake Prince Harry, and they like got a fake Prince Harry, and then they put a bunch of girls on an island, and are like they didn't ever say it was Prince Harry to the girls, like technically, but they're like, it was like they made it look like this big like royal estate, and like got all these girls, and we're like, you're competing to date this guy, and they're all like thinking they're gonna marry a prince. I don't know whatever ended up happening there, but I couldn't be good.
No, I didn't watch that. I didn't see that. I was gonna say really quickly while we're on reality TV before we get into the Broadway gossip, did you get to watch the Netflix Ultimatum Queer Love Story? Have you seen this?
No. My parents just canceled their Netflix subscription.
Bitches.
So
I want to give you mine so you can watch the show.
But now they're like so tight about the password sharing and shit.
It's like, I mean, they are, but I all I was gonna say is that there was there's this show on Netflix, The Ultimatum, and the first season was straight people in Austin, Texas, so it was obviously a fucking house fire, but it was basically one person wants to get married in the couple, the other one is like non-committal, so one person gives the other an ultimatum of like, at the end of this experience we're either gonna break up or get married, and so like the first 3 weeks you split up and you like have a trial marriage with somebody else on the show, and then you go back to your original partner and you either come out of it like together, broken up. They did one that's all non-binary lesbian people. And it is,
I was gonna say
so much.
They really have a hard time making dating shows with all gay men, because it I think it is challenging, honestly, to do a dating show with gay men, because you know, dating shows, it works. It's like girls versus guys, and then it's like the girls. Well, I guess this would be the same problem with like NB leso. I don't know. That sounds like a slur. I don't know if I can say
no, I was trying to figure out how to word it, because it's like, like not everybody is like there's some femme presenting people, there's some more masc presenting people, there's people with they them pronouns, there's people with she her pronouns.
The she theys.
Yes, the she theys. It's just it is interesting to see how people like recouple up based on like who they were with before. But there's this one person there who, like, Vanessa is very famous on the internet right now, because I think she's something's, I don't know if it's BPD, I don't know if she's just a sociopath, but she literally comes in, she's the one who was given the ultimatum, and she's like, well, I'm just here to like, you know, just have this experience, because like I'm not worried about, like, even if I don't marry my partner Xander, they're not going to leave me because I'm so hot. And they're like, literally, like, everybody kind of like bullies her because she's being a huge asshole. Yeah. But it's just like, I can't even describe like some of the things that happen.
Have you seen the video from Love Is Blind of the guy with the eye drops?
Yes.
Oh, yes. That's insane. I bet everyone's seen that. But I do you ever watch Love Island?
I love Love Island.
Okay, I don't watch Love Island that much. I'll like turn it on every now and then. Yeah. But what I kind of love about Love Island is there seem to be no rules except like whatever's gonna fuck these people up the most in that moment is the new rule. It's like they will change the rules, like change anything like drop of a hat to make the best TV, which is kind of, which I guess in a way Drag Race does that too. But it is very interesting. My friend Riley Aldridge, she will listen to these Spotify playlists of like all of like the Love Island music, and also they can get some good ass music in Love Island. I wonder if it's British copyright laws are different, because they have
better background music for everything.
Like Ariana Grande songs in the back. I'm like, how did they afford this? And then, also one more, I have to ask one more. Have you seen The Idol at all, or heard about this, the Idol
what
thing?
Is this?
The Weekend show? The Weekend?
Yeah, The Weekend, the rap, but no, what is this?
It's Lily Rose Depp, Johnny Depp's, it's the guy from Euphoria.
Okay.
And The Weekend and Lily Rose Depp. And Lily Rose Depp is like this like pop star who's kind of supposed to be like Britney Spears, and like,
yes,
it's controversial because there was a different director like attached to the show, and then that director got fired because allegedly The Weeknd said there was too much of a female perspective. And then it got turned into like this completely different show that Sam Levinson from Euphoria took over, that was like a lot more, that now has become, I mean, what people have described as like basically like a rape fantasy. And you like watch, I watched the first episode because I was so curious. And it's insane because it's very bad. Sorry. I mean, it's very, like, it's not only bad because it's problematic.
Yeah.
Which it is problematic. Like, it is like, there's like an intimacy coordinator in there, and then like the intimacy coordinator is like the bad guy.
I hate that.
Do you know what an yeah. I like, cause like he's like, well, she has a nudity writer. And then she's like, what, and then but it's bad, and it's like the whole first episode, like she has like she has like this like bracelet from like a hospital that she like got admitted to because of her mental health, and like they're like, that's sexy, and then they like and then like a picture of her like with cum leaked on her face, like on her face leaks, and all this crazy happens, and then she goes to the club and meets The Weeknd, and then like he like puts his robe over her face, and like she can't breathe, and then all of this insane shit happens, and yet it is so boring. It's kind of insane. It's kind of insane, like how much insane, controversial, like shit
graphic
can happen,
stuff.
and you can still be bored to absolute tears. Yeah, like, and The Weeknd should not be on TV screens. I mean, there's a reason he covered his face for the football. The Weeknd is serving Thursday. The Weeknd is Wednesday. The Weeknd is not. It's bad. It's real bad.
Like Tuesday. It's like a diarrhea after a Tuesday coffee day.
Yeah.
I just think it's like, for me, I was immediately like, I'm out as soon as you were like, the director was fired because it was too much female perspective. I was like, oh, I know this is gonna be bad now. If we're dialing back, because it's like, oh,
too much female perspective. Oh. What the fuck does that even mean? And the show's supposed to be about her, and God, they should not have made the show about The Weeknd. He is not enough. I mean, it actually, in The Weeknd's defense, just this one moment, is like, The Weeknd has good music. Like, he's a pretty good musician. He should not be on TV.
Yeah, it's like, I think everybody wants to be a multi-hyphenate because it's like hip right now, but it's like,
well, not only that, but
that's not, and that's
you
okay.
have to think back when like Madonna and Michael Jackson and they were like doing it, like you could make millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars off of record sales.
Yeah.
And nowadays on Spotify, you can't make that much money. I mean, the biggest hits today probably from Spotify earn like the artists like $1 million. You know what I mean? Like
with streaming services, I don't imagine you're making much money either. Like residuals are a thing of the past.
Yeah.
So I think it's probably like out of necessity because you're only getting that first initial paycheck from every single thing. I mean, honestly, the thing that probably as a musician would make you the most money is going on tour and doing live shows.
Right. Well, and it's so interesting because for years it was you went on tour to promote album sales, and now it's more the album is almost an advertisement for like your tours and merch.
It's crazy. And I feel like it's like, does he just not want to do live shows? Like why do a TV show that's bad? I'm sorry.
I don't know why I do a TV show that's bad. But it's a ton of musicians too, like Troye Sivan's in it. Jenny from Blackpink is in it randomly.
Is it supposed to be like a real look at the music industry? Like,
yeah.
What? Oh my God. And we have too much of a female perspective. Shut the fuck up. I'm like,
it is supposed to be a real look in the music industry, which is so funny because it just doesn't feel that way. The people just don't feel real. The people feel really fake. And also like,
the people in the music industry feel really fake?
Believe it or not. And also, sorry to Lily Rose Depp, but she also can't act.
It's a thing. I mean, and that's a thing that's hard too, because it's like, just because you're a nepotism baby doesn't always mean that you have the skill set of your parent.
Yeah.
Not always the case, unfortunately.
No, not always. We can't all be Liza.
We can't all be Liza. That would be pretty
Some
cool.
of us are Lorna. Just kidding.
Sorry, Lorna. Sorry.
Lorna's very talented, actually. She has a great singing voice. She was in Grease, too. But...
she was in Grease, too. Oh, my God. Ooh. Okay. I think we had planned today that we were going to spill some Reddit threaded Broadway tea, the Broadway hot goss.
Okay.
I think that we could start with, one of my favorite tales is all the time is the Sutton Foster Christian Borle
Okay, yes. The
blowout
Sutton...
of 2000. I think it was, I want to say it was it was while I was in college for sure. I remember Legally Blonde came out that time. Yeah.
This is something that I did not realize until very recently, and it really blows my mind. Also because I think I've realized that I don't really think of people who are on Broadway as having sex.
Honestly, you're not wrong.
Even the hot ones, I'm like, okay, but you're Barbie doll crotching it, right? Like they're like in the 70s, like the people in Hair the musical definitely were fucking.
They're fucking.
But
yeah.
And the people in Guys and Dolls, like they seemed like, but they were fucking too. But the people, I don't know that the people in Hamilton fuck. I just don't know that. And you can't tell me for 1 second that the people in Dear Evan Hansen know what a pussy is.
Yep,
you know what I mean? But
no, sorry. They don't.
But so Christian Borle, who was the star of Legally Blonde the musical, was currently dating Sutton Foster, who is
they're married. I think
they were married.
They were fully betrothed.
Fully betrothed.
Past betrothal.
This is insane. Okay, so they were married, and then Christian Borle is in Legally Blonde with Laura Bell Bundy, and apparently they have an affair. Which,
when I listen to the song "Take It Like a Man," I could see how they fell in love.
No, have you ever fallen in love with a co-star?
Yes, I would say that that has happened.
Was it messy?
I think it was messy in that they didn't love me back, because that's famously my my.
Oh no! Clean up and aisle me, because I. I think I have some things I need to organize then. But, I'm in a very happy relationship right now. But have you ever had an affair?
Yes.
Oh,
I'm sorry. I said that point blank.
No, I'm not mad at that.
I mean, that's my red flag. That's my darkness. Yes.
You're in a non-monogamous relationship right now, and that's obviously something that I think is right for you. Mm-hmm. And people be cheating.
I'm sorry to laugh, but it's like, I think famously, people be cheating. People be cheating for different reasons. I think that I can imagine it's very difficult to be in a situation where you are acting out being in love with someone on stage or in film and not develop those feelings for that person. I mean, famously, Brad Pitt, Angelina Jolie, no longer together.
Yes.
Mr. and Mrs. Smith, it has happened beyond Broadway. It happens at fucking offies with bosses and secretaries. You know what I mean?
And what's so interesting too is this is something that's been interesting to me, like in the like post Me Too movement, is like I feel like for so long I feel like so many people, the way that a lot of people met was through The Office, and I think there's a lot of complications that that go there, and I think that's a very messy that, and now there's been a huge backlash to that, and I don't think it's bad. Well, I don't think it's good, but I don't think it's necessarily evil always to date a coworker or somebody who works with you. And I think that obviously there's a lot of reasons. Most of our relationships as humans are born out of convenience of like your friends are who you've met. You're it's like who you met and who you have access to are the people you have relationships with. I
think it ultimately comes down to power dynamics.
Mm-hmm.
I think
it does. It's
boss
like a superior,
and employee, or like teacher and student. Those are ones where it's
that's very bad.
I'm not trying to come for anybody's necks, but somebody who I was classmates with, I think just married one of our college professors. Really? They met while one was a professor and one was a student, and it's there
are 4 relationships I know that slid in right under the closing garage door of Me Too. Do you know what I mean? They're We all have a few relations in our mind where it's like, okay, the power dynamics are not there, and if that happened like a year later, people would have stopped that.
Yeah, people would have been like, what is going on?
Because I can think of like some people who in my like, because the reckoning kind of happened like my freshman year of college.
For sure.
And like was happening around that time, and I made it sound so scary and southern there. The reckoning. Okay, biblical as fuck, but the reckoning was happening around there, and I remember, and like I was going to college, and I was like, some of the people we're dating like are speech coaches who are significantly older, and I'm like, some of those couples.
Yeah. I mean, it's like with the Laura Bell Bundy and the Christian Boyle situation, like I think it's interesting because it's like you get it because they're co-stars, but it's like with any like a cheating situation, it's like them like having a spark and a flame during that thing. It sucks that had to like destroy a marriage. You know what I mean? Like, because it's like, I don't think that Christian was like, I'm doing this to hurt something. Like, no, he was being impulsive and not being thoughtful. And I think that like the reality of like the world now with social media, and people can like learn this information so fast, and like I think of also like the Try Guys situation. Like if that would have happened in like the 1950s, nobody would be like live YouTubing about it and talking about it and like can't, you know what I mean? Like,
right.
I think that some of these things, like people should be allowed to learn and grow from that experience and like be forgiven. Like maybe not, but like maybe that relationship ends and those people break up, but like they should be able to deal with those matters individually and like heal and forgive themselves and move on. Because I think it's like, unfortunately, like it's a lot more common than we would like to believe, in terms of, I think that we make it very like, if somebody cheated, we fucking cancel them, they're a piece of shit. And it's like, I think context is everything, I guess.
That is like I've had people in my life who are like they'll describe like a toxic relationship they're in. They every day told me I was like fat and ugly, and they were mean, and they were verbally abusive, and they even like a few times maybe things got physical and blah 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 blah, and then they like would leave for 7 days and then come back with like bleach blonde hair, you know what I mean? And then they'd be like, and worst of all, they cheated on me. And I'm like, worst of all? I'm like, maybe they were trying to save you there, because I'm like, I do think that, and it's interesting because my mom always was of the perspective that cheating isn't that big of a deal. And that's something she always told me, which I don't know what that meant for my parents' dynamics, but she was always like, if like your dad like cheated on me, like I feel like we would work through it. Which,
yeah, and I guess basically like the point that I'm trying to make with it is, it's like, I think it's really unfair to go on, like if you have a public platform, or like I know a lot of times I'll listen to like podcasts or things where they're like, if he like once a cheater, always a cheater, da-da-da. Like imagine being somebody who like you're trying to like move forward and heal and work through that, and you hear that messaging, and it's like, that's got, like, I think basically my point I'm trying to make is like, I think everybody is like an individual case by case basis, and like whatever you decide to do, like I think that you should feel confident and supported, and like if it doesn't end up being the right choice, it's not the right choice. But like I also always reference like Jay-Z and Beyonce, or like Cardi B and Offset. Like I don't know if those are the best example, but those are two situations where somebody cheated and they're still together, and maybe they won't always be together, but right now they've found a way to move forward.
I mean, Hillary Clinton and Bill Clinton will always be together at this point.
Yeah.
And it's also like marriages are complicated things, and love and marriages and relationships mean different things to different people, because it's like, I think all three of those relationships that we just brought up, Cardi B, Offset, Beyonce, Jay-Z, and Hillary Clinton, Bill Clinton, are also, they're deeply tied to their careers, and like
as a partnership,
and like the money, and so I think that it complicates it. With the Try Guys, for a long time I was like, why the fuck would anyone care about this? And then I think that more had to do with the fact that she was an employee technically.
Oh yeah, she was an employee, he was the boss. And I think also with the Try Guys, it was like, he was so vocally like a wife guy. And that's where it's like you're hiding something. And the Maroon 5 guy does that too. Like he's super wife guy, and it's like I think but yeah, I guess my point I'm trying to make is, it's like I think it's unfair to make things so black and white when it's like no relationship between two people is the same.
No, I think that once again, like, not to downplay it, but like cheating is something that does happen all the time, and I think it's complicated too, because I think for like a lot of like cis straight people who like are like only in monogamous relationships, I feel like sometimes I think that when straight people are in a relationship that isn't working, I feel like they feel like cheating is sometimes the only way out. If that makes sense.
Yeah, like it's easier, like, oh, if I hurt you in the worst way possible,
like that's
break it off.
Right, that's a breakup, or that's an escape, you know. And I'm watching that new show, the Love and Death HBO thing. I don't know if you've seen.
I've not seen
anyway,
that.
I'm not far enough into it to have but you know, my friend was really mad at John Mulaney for cheating, and I'm like,
yeah.
I'm like, I mean, I guess you're entitled to feel however you want, but they're like John Mulaney's like a piece of shit, like blah 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 blah. Like, could you imagine like if you know, if like you like break up with your wife and say you don't want a baby, and then immediately like cheat on her with a model and then get a baby or something? I'm like, well, you don't know any of the situation, like, because, and I don't know.
Yeah, and I think it's a thing where it's like as painful and as fucked up as it can be, like maybe he didn't want a baby with that person.
Well, and also is like, another
that's painful, and
another
that's fucked,
possibility, which I think is very possible, is that he did want a baby, but she didn't want a baby. He wanted to be with her, and then as things evolve, he realized that that's not actually what he wanted, and that he was doing that because he wanted to be with her, and then that, you know, relationship changed. Also, obviously the addict thing is, you know, another part of it. But she's like, I just can't do addicts. I'm like, you can't do addicts? Like, that's such a... That's kind of
I can't do people with cancer.
I know. It's a sickness. It's a disease. And that was like, too, I watched John Mulaney's recent special with a friend, which it is funny because he's kind of like, I'm going to address everything that you guys have to ask about me, except for the cheating and anything that makes me look bad. It's like, just the things you really want to know, like my rehab experience. I'm like, I'm happy for you, John, but I don't know if this is the juicy shit we need. But I actually thought it was a great special. It was a little less tight, like jokey joke that, like, you know, he's such a brilliant writer and performer that, like, you expect maybe a little tighter, but I thought it was a great like show, and maybe a little more storytelling and a little more, but like I was watching it with...
I loved it for that reason. I loved the storytelling of it, and I
thought it was a great special, and I actually thought it had great jokes too, but I was watching it with somebody and they're like, he was a really funny crackhead, but he's not funny anymore. And I'm like, that really hurts me kind of to hear that, because I don't think that's true of the situation, and
it's like incredibly dismissive.
I think it's dismissive, and I think it really makes things worse. I think that those ideas make things worse. I think they're dangerous, harmful ideas. And this is something that I've recently been on recently. It's like, I don't respect all people's beliefs. There are a lot of beliefs I don't respect at all. I think they're shit and disgusting.
Yeah.
But and I'm not saying that those people are shit and disgusting. But like I think that belief is harmful, and like the idea that like I can't do addicts. It's like, I don't know. I don't know. Like, you're entitled to whatever like you want in your life that is harming you, and like don't put yourself in any harm's way. But like, I can't do addicts is different from that. That's like that's not about what's happening to you. It's about the people. It's about their identity. And there are a lot of people who have a sickness that, you know. And that's the thing about addiction too. Is I mean, there are so many people that I think through comedy you see who struggle with addiction all the time, and it's like you don't know at all, or like you know, like you don't know it's getting that bad, and it can be completely quiet, out of control, and not affect you in any way, and but it's destroying this person's life. So anyway,
I think it's like, I mean, we see that a lot, and I guess basically like my thing is, it's like I wish that we as a society could have a little bit more restorative justice than immediately just writing people off. Like, I think there are certain crimes and there are certain offenses that it's like, that's unforgivable. But like relationship drama and like struggling with addiction and like certain things like that, I'm like, can't we just give people an opportunity to grow and change? That's really all I'm getting at. Because it's like, there are some things where it's like, if you did that, like, that's beyond fucked, and like you're probably a danger to yourself and others. But like there's tons of examples of people who cheated and never cheated again, or who were addicts and are now sober for like 20, 30 years. And I think that, you know, it's more just like, to me, the basic, like, treat people how you would want to be treated. Like, would you want to be completely written off?
Right.
Because you made a mistake? No, you would want people to give you another chance.
Yeah.
I mean, like, murder is different. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you kill
murder is an immediate forgive.
Immediately, I'm like, I get it, honey.
Like murder, like, you know, there are a lot of things that aren't forgivable and aren't and that you shouldn't have to put up with. But the thing is, it's like, it's things. It's not people. I mean,
Yes.
there are things in addiction that you should not have to put up with, and if you have to distance yourself from that situation, that person, in that because of that, absolutely, you should do that. But to say you don't deal with addicts, there are a lot of, you know what I mean? That's different. I recently told Danny Ling this. I was walking with them, and I'm like, you know, some of the wait, no, this isn't. I was like, I feel like I've seen so often, like, in the Chicago comedy scene, there are like great comedians who either, you know, they go on to do something else, or they stop comedy because of, like, maybe either addiction or they fall in love.
Yeah, I mean, it's like,
I feel like I've seen a lot of comedians who fall in love and then they're like, oh, I actually don't need this validation anymore.
I mean, it's that's a fair point. I've seen that too, and I feel like it's like, it makes me think of like Mae Martin's show Feel Good, of like, is that a different addiction?
I definitely think
that
I think that comedy, like, and the way that I've said this before, is like, killing on stage is like the greatest high. It's such an adrenaline rush and such like a feeling of power and just like comfort, you know, and so, and like being in love with somebody and being with somebody who like you care about is so, you know,
as well.
I have a question for you about cheating too, really
Excuse
quick.
me, sorry.
Going a million miles an hour as per usual. If you are in a non-monogamous relationship, so this is a little different, but like, let's say you're in a monogamous relationship, you're married to somebody, and your best friend catches the person you're with cheating. Would you want to know? Because I kind of feel like, controversially, I wouldn't want to know.
I'm like, LOL. I think controversially, I think I probably would want to know, but I would not want my friend to be the one to tell me. Like, I feel like I would want my friend to be like, you need to tell her, or she never finds out. You know what I mean? Because it's like, if my friend...
But then what if that person refuses to tell... Like, what if the husband refuses to tell you? Because, like, obviously that'd be the ideal situation, is that the friend doesn't do it, but...
I mean, I feel like it's like, I guess, like, because in my experience, like, with me having, you know, made my mistakes in the past and having cheated previously, and honestly, in a couple of situations when I was probably like from 18 to 22 is my time where I think that I had a thing where I would self-sabotage. I would look at a really healthy, happy, good relationship I was in, and I would go, oh, I don't deserve this. Let's test, you know, and that's fucked up. And I've, like, you know, talked about it in therapy for the past 6 years, but it was kind of like this thing in my brain would go, let's see how solid this is. And that's, you can't, you know what I mean? Like, it's literally inevitable if you, 9 times out of 10, if you do that, probably more than 9 times out of 10, I would say 6 out of, you know, if you do that, the person's going to break up with you because you cheated on them. So it's like, I, you know, would do that as like let's see if you really deserve this person. And it's like, if I could have just believed that I deserve this person, because and the thing is, it's like, it never had anything to do, like, I was never intentionally trying to hurt them. I was trying to harm myself. I was like, this feels stable. This feels good. I don't deserve this. Let's fuck it up. And so I guess my point would be, I don't really think it's the act of like being sexually intimate with somebody else that's hurtful. It's the lie. So it's like, I want to hear it from you. I don't want to hear it from my friend. If I'm hearing it from my friend, I'd rather not know. It's the same as like, if my friend was like, oh, so-and-so was talking shit about you. I don't need to know somebody was talking shit about me. And you just stand up for me while I'm there. Like, you stand up for me and never tell me about it.
You see, this is where I think the philosophy on cheating comes from with me, is like, I'm the same, and I might have talked about this in the podcast before.
Yeah.
You know, since I've talked about this before on the podcast, let's talk about something new, like J-Lo, but no.
Yeah, We have never mentioned her ever.
No, I feel like once again, and it's hard because cheating is also, I would say, on the spectrum. It's like, are you fucking any random person you see on the street and then maybe putting me in harm because you're not maybe being safe, and then that are you cheating on me with my best friend, and now it's like a double there are so many different situations. But also, like, it's interesting that you would say you want your partner to tell you, because I would say too, I think that if I was in a really good relationship with somebody and I loved them and they cheated on me, like, let's say they cheated on me once, and like, we've been together for a while and things are still going good, and they don't want to break up with me, and I don't know that I would necessarily want them to tell me.
Yeah, I mean, and I think that's your prerogative. Like, I guess the point I'm trying to get at with a lot of this stuff is it's like, it was Sutton Foster's prerogative to, I think that we had discussed, she cheats back.
No, okay, we did discuss this actually.
But yeah, so she cheats back and then they break up. That's her prerogative.
Yeah.
That was what she wanted in that situation. That's what made her feel good, and I think that's great. I think if you would rather not know and continue to, like, that's your thing. And I think that it's just like, I think that when we set these standards, they cause people harm, because it's like, if you're going through life and that happens and you decide you want to stay with that person, you want to forgive them, you want to grow together, and everyone around you is saying, "Went to cheat around," it's like, that sucks for that person who is already dealing with the pain of, like, trying to trust this person again, and they've made that decision to themselves, and everyone, like, I guess what I'm trying to say to you is, like, if you've decided that you want to love somebody unconditionally and forgive them and grow together, you're not dumb and you're not weak. And it's like, if they continue to behave badly, at that point you do need to make a choice to move on. But, like, you shouldn't feel bad for making the decision that's right for you.
Well, and truthfully, like, cheating is, I mean, in a way, it's kind of like a thing we've, like, put morals on that aren't just totally there on their own. Because at least the way I look about morality is, it's like, does it harm somebody? And I mean, the thing about cheating is, it's like, in theory, like, I mean, what's part of conflict is, like, the safety of it. It's like, it's potentially, you could be exposing somebody to, like, an STI or, like,
and it's emotionally harmful because you lied to them. Like, that's what's emotionally harmful about it. But it's part of why I think, like, I mean, and I've told you for the past 2 years, I haven't really been dating anybody else, but it's like, I believe in non-monogamy because I believe, like, it's about communication. The thing that's hurtful is not the action itself. It's the lying about the action.
What is your guys' system for, like, hooking up with other people? Is it, I have to tell them? Is it, I can talk about it, but it's not like I need to tell them? Or is it, we do our own thing, but, like, we kind of leave that out, and then
we kind of talk about everything in terms of, like, it's like, hey, I'm going to go on a date with this person on this day. It's like, okay. And then it'll be like, how did the date go? And, like, I think that it's like, we share as much or as little as we want in terms of that, but it's like, definitely, like, it's not like asking permission, but it's like, we'll share, like, oh, I met this person, they seem really cool, I'm going to go on a date with this person. And then it's like, oh, like, this, like, we'll openly talk about, like, I know, like, if things are going weird, or, like, if things were really good, like, we openly discuss that, because I think it's like, again, I think the thing that is damaging about cheating is the dishonesty. So for me, it's like, I'd rather just, like, be able to ask questions, know what's going on. And it's like, if my partner has a loving, beautiful relationship with this person, and this person's adding value to his life and making him happy, that doesn't take away from what we have.
Right.
If anything, that's adding value to his life, which is then making our life together stronger. So I think it's like,
totally.
Yeah, that's kind of like my opinion on it. And I think it's just, for me right now, I'm not really open to dating anybody because I have so much going on. And I also I think I have trust issues after the last person that I dated outside of my serious relationship. So it's like, I'm kind of scared to let anybody new in, because I just don't necessarily know that people always have the best motives at this point in time. But yeah, I hope that answered the question. I feel like I hit on a few different points of that. And
no,
I feel
not at all.
I'm trying to think if there's anything, but I know we need to do the song soon, so I'm just trying to think.
I know, we ended up just going on cheating really more than the Sutton Foster. So Sutton Foster, okay, what do you think about retaliatory cheating, though? I know you said that, like, if that's her prerogative, but at the same time, I'm like, I don't know about that as a system completely. Like,
here's my thing. It's like, I think it's a thing of, like, it's like, is it petty? Yes. Is it wrong? I don't think so. It's like, I think it's very common. I mean, in my opinion, I feel like rather than cheat back, just like I would do like a classic 90s hit 'em up style. Take the credit cards, go buy a bunch of shit. Like that's, I mean, I think it's like,
if your man want to get
you
buck
can't,
wild.
yeah, exactly. Go back and get him up style. You know, I'm just saying it's like, it's a difficult thing because it's like, I know like, it's back to what I said of like every situation is unique to that couple. Like I can't judge what anybody does in that moment because it's like I don't know what I would do if Christian Boyle cheated on me. You know what I mean? Like, if I was Sutton Foster and Christian Boyle cheated on me with Laura Bell Bundy, like I don't know what I would feel. I don't know what I would do.
I do wonder too. What are the things that Sutton Foster said about Laura Bell Bundy after that? You know, she brought up the fact that Sutton has a Tony. You know, you're like, you're gonna cheat on me with somebody without a Tony.
Yeah, with a Tonyless girl. That's. I mean, yeah. I feel like she. I don't like. It makes. Has Laura done a ton of shows since? I feel like she pivoted to doing country music after that situation.
She didn't really do a lot of. In fact, I don't know if she did any Broadway after Legally Blonde, and
which I think is like probably because it's like. I think if anything, it shows the fact that it's like. It's still a male-dominated like. Well, Christian can keep doing fucking.
That's
Christian
so
Boyle's done
too.
So many shows
because Christian Boyle is so much tighter in that scene, and but also like that's the hard thing is we don't really know. Even with the retaliatory thing, like this could have been a situation. I'm not saying this is what it is, but it could have been a situation where it's like, okay, I cheated on you. You can fuck that guy in Young Frankenstein. You know what I mean? But yeah, but also like we don't know like the situation of like Laura Bell Bundy could have a ton of opportunities to come back to Broadway, and I'm sure she could come back to Broadway, but like
we don't know. That's why I was saying I mean the pivot thing I like was saying in terms of like I can't imagine like falling in love with your co-star who's married and like I think maybe she was also married. I don't remember, but it's like maybe it was just painful and she just was like I want to step away for a second. But again, it's like I'm just speculating. I have absolutely no idea.
Well, and that just happened in Hadestown too, which is another thing on the Reddit thread. I mean, we have lots more Broadway drama to go. Well, this season could be Broadway drama.
Yeah, this season. I mean,
we could do the theme of each Broadway drama and expose it. The first one's cheating. We could do.
I will say my toxic trait is the Hadestown one. I kind of get it. The whole musical is he fucking walks to hell to save her from Hades. How do you not fall in love doing that show?
That's
How do you
fair,
not?
but I think the reason you get it more with that situation is because they weren't cheating on people who are also famous or Broadway stars. Do you know what I mean? Like if the two stars of like the Broadway show were cheating on other Broadway stars, maybe we'd be like, because part of the reason if Christian Borle's wife wasn't Sutton Foster, one, we probably wouldn't know about this now. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I don't know. Not saying I don't know.
It's just I think that you're calling me out for not caring about Ava's husband because he's not famous, and I think that that's probably a good thing that you're calling me out for that because that might be.
Social Climber Jamie's back. Jamie Climber Biddle.
Jamie Climber Biddle.
Classic. Doesn't care about anyone who's not famous.
Doesn't matter how many friends you lose or people you leave dead and bloody. My toxic trait, I keep talking about Zoolander on this show. I keep quoting Zoolander.
This is my toxic trait is I don't actually know that you're quoting Zoolander. I've seen Zoolander once and I actually had a great time watching that movie. It is funny. I still think about, and do you know Alexander Skarsgård's in that scene? He's in that movie. The scene where like they're all like playing with gasoline.
I did not know that was him.
He's one of the models who's like getting like blown up.
I didn't know. I have to go back and rewatch. I didn't know that was him, but I do think we got to do the song now. In terms of Becca's got to go.
About me, Becca.
A beautiful so confusing. Accompanist, Becca, is gonna hit the keys, and I'm gonna figure out what we're talking about.
Okay.
Cheating is bad if it's famous people. Cheating is bad if it's famous people. Cheating is bad if it's famous people. Cheating is bad if it's famous people.
Cheating is bad if it's famous people, because then you know everyone that's getting cheated on. But But if it's just two normal people, it is totally okay. So if you're an accountant, cheat on your wife.
Yeah.
If you work at 7-Eleven, cheat on your husband.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it. There aren't any tabloids following you around. So just bounce on whatever dick you see. Do on. Even if you gotta pee, just hold it in and hold up your hearts to listen. And cheat on your spouses.
Cheating is bad if it's famous people. 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 But if you're normal people and you cheat, you're probably gonna be the source of some really juicy small town gossip. Some really juicy small town gossip about Randy and Irene.
Randy and Irene, have you seen? They were together at the hockey game in Norport-Lean.
Oh, shit.
I know, I think there's something going on there, which is interesting because they actually used to have a fling in high school. But could you imagine Randy cheating on Barbara? Because Barbara's just the fucking best.
Barbara's
All of
so
Barbara.
great.
And Irene is just like...
She's kind of a pick-me, but cheating's bad if it's famous people. Cheating is bad if it's famous people. Cheating is bad if it's famous people.
Oh no,
except when
Irene,
it's the people from Hades Town.
That's right. Oh no, Irene just got a book deal. Now the cheating's bad because Irene got a book deal. And she's kind of famous, especially for this town. So I guess it's bad. It came all the way around. Now cheating is bad because Irene is famous.
She's famous.
Cheating is bad because Irene is famous.
Nobody's gonna buy her book. Her book's about self-help. And what does she know about that if she's fucking Randy? Irene, we're really disappointed in you.
Come on, Irene.
Oh, that was a fun one. I loved that.
Come on, Irene.
Come on. I can't believe we didn't take the opportunity to talk about the Vanderpumps Rules drama with all this cheating talk.
Not Scandival.
Maybe next time, but
maybe next time on the Big Finish.
Maybe next time we'll
Until
be lucky.
then, thank you to the Lincoln Lodge.
Mama, thank you to
and
Christine.
our lovey Christine on the producer track. I can't think. Christine on pressing the buttons and Becca pressing the piano buttons. We will see you guys next week.
See you next time. Bye.
Bye. This is the Big Finish at Lincoln Lodge. We're about to get it on the show. So come on, everybody, and get the show on the road.
Let's get it on the road.